Good evening and welcome to the Health Education Committee meeting for November. And I hear a motion on the minutes, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Second.
And a second. And all in favor of adopting the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. That was no opposed, of course. Ms. Garrett is here from the Health Department, and she is ready to go with materials and questions, whatever.
Hello. Good evening. So I wanted to begin with just submitting my report that I always attach for you gentlemen and Mr. And secondly, I'd like to just update you a little bit on our H1n1 clinics. We talked about it last month when I was here. And we have offered 15 different clinics. We've tried to vary the times and days, and in those 15 clinics we've been very successful in our immunization effort, and we have vaccinated over 8,000 individuals. We base these clinic dates and times on vaccine availability, and we have a really big one planned for Saturday the 21st, and the hours for that will be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's going to be at our Murfreesboro site at 100 West Burton. We'll be offering the nasal flu mist as well as the injectable H1n1 flu shot. Anyone who's generally healthy between the ages of 2 through 49, we're recommending that they get the nasal mist. We're trying to save the injectable vaccine for very young children, pregnant women, and people who cannot take the nasal mist, who have health concerns and issues. The CDC has recommended new target groups of who should get the vaccine: pregnant women, children ages 6 months to 24 years of age, household contacts and caregivers of children less than 6 months of age, healthcare and emergency medical personnel, and persons aged 25 to 64 with chronic health conditions such as asthma, heart disease, and diabetes.
Questions from Ms. Garrett?
I move to approve the report.
Second.
All in favor of approving the report, please say aye.
Aye.
Ms. Garrett, now the H1n1 vaccine is free, first of all, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is free, and there is no appointment necessary for our clinic, which is Saturday. Thank you for reminding me.
And that is 10 to 2 this Saturday on Burton Street, the brand new health department down there.
That's exactly right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, community care report. Do we have it? We have already handed that out. Thank you. Let's get it right here. You've had this a few minutes. I don't know if you've had a chance to read it or not. You might look it over for just a moment if you like. Like collections are excellent.
I move we accept the report.
Dr. Bullen has moved that we accept this report. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Cook. Questions, discussion at all? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? No. None. Ms. Jolly? I believe special projects report. And you have had this one a few days. School building program status report, a couple of days, I believe. Everyone has a copy. Ms. Jolly, please.
Well, I really don't have much to point out. It's just been a general paying of bills. I haven't had any amendments or anything to change. Just if you have any questions.
Oh, the county sewer project says it's 100% finished. Oh, never mind. It's got a zero balance. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved and has been seconded. Any comments, discussions at all? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposition? No.
Won't I leave that?
Ms. Jolly? You've been approved 100% again, unanimously. Mr. Jeff Samick is here this evening, and Mr. Clardy, I believe, is coming up with him. While they're on their way up, I want to tell you that a couple of things. First of all, Mr. Clardy is going to be at our next commission meeting, and matter of fact, he said he'd come whenever we wanted him to, which I appreciate, but he'll be there in December to bring us up to date on Central Middle School renovation and plans onto Central Magnet School, obviously, and also on the two middle schools and McFadden plans and how they're coming along. And of course, that's in the report that Ms. Jolly just presented, and I'm sure we'll see a little bit more progress before December gets here, but at any rate, Mr. Clardy will be here with the commission on that night. Ms. Sambick, please.
And I need to apologize. We were unable to send this out because the board just saw it Tuesday, and I figured if I mailed it Wednesday, y'all wouldn't have it.
Mr. Chairman, before we move off to this, I'd like to request that we allow Mr. Clardy one more time to explain to the public that we're not building middle schools in a hole that's going to flood every time it rains.
Ms. Clardy, you have 30 seconds to explain that again this week if you'd like. I went by there, by the way. It looks fine to me, but go. I'm not an engineer.
This, the road is higher, so it appears to be in a hole in the thing, but that property slopes off to the southeast through there and drains down to the creek. We have used good and standard engineering practices in designing the stormwater runoff over there. Been reviewed by the state environmental folks and also by the city, and been approved by both of those. So we're confident that it's going to work and work well. Now, the detention pond is, if we get a 100-year flood or a 100-year rain event, it will top the top of the detention pond, which is off to the back of Mr. Hutchinson's house. If we get 3 or 4 in a row, we're probably not only going to have to worry about it, we're going to have to worry about Oakland, Pittard School, and the other areas around. So I'm confident that it's going to work well. That's about all I can say.
But you said something about a backup system or something.
Well, there's a backup system in one of the areas down there that has 3 pumps on it with a generator, so that if, for instance, the pump kicked on, it would, in an emergency case, it would drain it. There's 3 pumps that are connected up so that there's 2 backups on that one pump, and they'll pump an amazing amount of water, probably 3,000 to 5,000 gallons per minute.
Okay, well, thank you, both of you. I just want to make sure everybody's heard that, so we won't have anybody else driving by thinking that the county has lost its mind on this.
There are people who think that anyway, but when you were building Siegel Middle, I thought it looked like it was slow, because it sits lower than Thompson Lane, but it's been open 7 or 8 years now and hadn't had an issue, but it does sit, because the road is higher and it sits and it's slower, but of course the topography of the area keeps going away from that, so it's fine.
And it's also, we estimated bringing that building up, and it's about $1.5 million to get it up to road level. So we made the decision to put it where it is and save that $1.5 million.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Sammy.
All right. I have 4 GPS budget amendments. The first one is Jennings Jones Foundation grant for the Virtual Enterprise Program, and just y'all have seen the amendments over the years, where we get various grants, gifts from Jennings and Rebecca Jones Foundation. This, we are budgeting the 2009-10 $20,000 grant, And we are taking $12,000 out of the general purpose school fund balance, and that was left over from the 2008-2009 grant. And then the related $32,000 in expenditures to help support the virtual enterprise program. And our vocational department is trying to build a stronger virtual enterprises network in Tennessee, and a lot of this grant will be used for professional development to facilitate student learning. The recommended motion is to amend $20,000 in revenue to account 44,570 for the 2009-10 grant from the Jennings and Rebecca Jones Foundation, to amend the remaining $12,000 from the general purpose school fund balance that is left from last year's grant, and the related $32,000 in expenditures to help support the virtual enterprise program as presented.
Would the committee like to go ahead and do all four of them together? Is that acceptable to everyone? Ms. Sandvik, I believe that's going to be okay. Go ahead, sir.
The second amendment is for the Coordinated School Health Program. This amendment reallocates $2,300 in ERA Coordinated School Health expenditures from $72,120,499 other materials and supplies to $72,120,370 substitute teachers. These substitutes will cover classes while teachers get training for the Michigan model, and that is a health curriculum which is being integrated into at least 16 of our schools this year. And the recommended motion is to amend $2,300 in ERA Coordinated School Health expenditures from $72,120,499 other materials and supplies to $72,120,370 substitute teachers as presented.
I didn't do a very good job there. Are there questions on number one or number two and the recommended motions?
I would just like to, exactly what is a virtual enterprise program?
It's one of the programs we have to teach our vocational students more about operating a business. We have several programs, and with Mrs. Kay Nixon, Kay's been close to 10 years, maybe 10 years, but she's keeps very much up on what we need to do to expand and adapt our vocational program for these times.
They won some awards for that program.
Oh,
if I'm
yes.
not mistaken.
Yeah, it's been a
Good program.
very successful program.
Other questions? Ms. Sandvik?
The third amendment is the budgetary transfer that ties to the resolution that was approved at the October Commission meeting. On October 15th, both the school board and the county commission approved a $1 million transfer resolution in order to loan up to $1 million from the GPS fund balance to the school system's federal projects funds. We have to avoid temporary cash deficits in the federal projects fund. In the past, we were able to do this in an informal manner, and the auditors have decreed that we must do it in a formal manner now. This $1 million shall remain in the federal projects fund as a designated fund balance from the GPS school fund balance, and may be repaid at any time as noted in the resolution that was passed in October. This amendment, it's just the budgetary side of what we did in October. It decreases the GPS fund balance temporarily by $1 million and increases transfers to other funds by $1 million. The recommended motion for this is to amend $1 million from the GPS fund balance and to budget that $1 million in transfers to other funds, 141, 99, 100, 590.
Any questions for Mr. Sandvik on Amendment 3?
All right.
We're ready for 4.
Ready for 4. The special ed high-cost students. The school system has received an additional $19,709 from the state to partially reimburse us for high-cost special ed students that we educated last year. This year's figure, for the first time, also includes some funds for the high-cost preschool students. These funds must be amended into the current year's budget for special ed expenditures. And the expenditures will be for special ed teacher pay and benefits in both 71,200 special education and 73,400 preschool. Our recommended motion is to amend $14,874 in IDEA revenues and the related expenditures for special education teachers, and to amend $4,835 in preschool revenue and the related expenditures for preschool teachers as presented.
Questions from Mr. Sandvig? If not, we'll need to send this on to budget, of course, all four of them, and we'll need to vote.
Need a motion?
Yes, sir.
I move we accept.
Second.
All roll, please, Ms. Shelton.
Commissioner Bullen,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch,
Yes.
Commissioner Will Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And now we have 3 building program amendments, so Ms. Jolly's report will be different next month. Yeah. I will check the times of the meetings. The first one is a project cleanup amendment. Yeah, we do these routine cleanups within the different projects and reallocate existing funds. No new funds are involved. We're not moving money from one project to another. It just clean up within the line items for the individual projects. The amendment reallocates $1,600 in the Rockdale Middle School budget, $1,445,205 in the Browns Chapel Elementary project, and $1,410,000 of that is separating the furniture, equipment, technology, etc. into the appropriate lines for that. From the Christiana Elementary renovation projects, or within it, $43,356. And in both the Whitworth Buchanan and Oakland Middle, we are separating architect fees, engineering fees, and site development from that beginning, basically one line budget that was approved. At Whitworth Buchanan, it is $5,960,928. And at Oakland Middle, $3,449,134. And the recommended motion is to amend as presented the above-mentioned 5 building program projects and the amounts which reallocate existing budgeted funds to other accounts within the same project. And I can read the amounts again if you would like me to, Mr. Chairman.
I think we're fine. We have questions from anyone from Sandvig on building program? Should we take these individually, or can we go ahead? Sandvig, I think we can go ahead.
All right. The second amendment, and I just thought it was better to separate it out a bit. This one is setting up the furniture, fixture, equipment, technology line items for both Oakland and Whitworth Buchanan middle schools. It moves $2,425,000 in the existing funding for the furniture, equipment, technology, phones, and library book budget from the construction line at both Oakland and then the same amount at Whitworth Buchanan middle schools. And these amounts are based on our expenditures at Rockdale Middle with some minor adjustment. And the recommended motion is to amend $2,425,000 from the construction budget for both Oakland and Whitworth Buchanan middle schools to budget for the furniture, equipment, technology, phones, and library books as presented.
Questions from anyone? I believe we're okay, Mr. Sandvig. Go ahead with number 3.
Number 3 is why I brought Mr. Clardy. He can explain this one. This amendment ask the County Commission to transfer the $312,655 in funds that are still available from the sale of the excess Gurley property to the building program to help fund the middle school shortfall. The $1,166,790 shortfall was caused by the changes Murfreesboro required when the school system applied for permits with the city for these two middle schools. In order to finish the funding, the amendment also transfers $104,294 remaining in the Rockville Middle School project. There is now $20,193 available in the Siegel High Irrigation Project, $287,040 remaining in the Browns Chapel project that we will be able to move, $19,820 remaining in the Christiana Elementary renovation project, and $422,788 that is in the budget for the next high school.
Mr. Chairman, can our engineer explain what the Murfreesboro changes were? Well, there's, as you can see, they're pretty extensive on both projects. Just to start with,
the last 2 or 3 pages in your packet have the detail on this. I'm sorry, David.
To start with, there was, of course, the permitting fees. There's on Oakland Middle School, $62,000 in permitting fees. Because Whitworth Buchanan was more expensive and a larger site, there was $89,356 in permitting fees. We had the turn lanes accepted by at Oakland, for instance, or what we would normally use, and we had to add $108,000 worth of work on those. We had $140,000 worth of utility changes. Just review comments in general on Oakland Middle Schools, $12,000 worth of odds and ends. We had a $56,000 landscape change, Oakland Middle School. We had an auditorium ramp, Oakland Middle School, $2,500. Additional irrigation at $4,000. Parking and street restriping, $29,000. And this is the high points of those. Some of the other items are credits and smaller. And then with the changes that we had on Oakland Middle School, the additional design fees to meet the city requirements were about $80,000 throughout the architectural, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing design work. On Whitworth Buchanan, as I said, permitting fees were more expensive out there. They were around $89,000. We had sewer changes of $50,000. We had a $63,000 water line revision, which normally CUD, we deal with them, and we are hooking on CUD's water, but the city made us meet some other requirements. We had turn lanes pass through TDOT out there, and then the city came back and wanted more length of the lane, decel lane increase, which came up to $96,000. We also had a jack and bore of $66,000, which we thought we were going to be able to cut the road and had TDOT's approval, but we ended up having to bore it because the city would not let us cut it. They had just paved the road. Additional irrigation out there at $56,000. We had some review comments of $80,000. storm changes, on site of 144,000, and then you take the 80,000 in designer fees, and that pretty much brings it up to where we are tonight.
Do we have any indication that the city might do this? Did we have any warnings or any way that we could have anticipated this when we were putting together the cost?
I don't know, we've submitted 5 or 6 times over there, different plans, and I finally just had to go down with all the engineers, all the different departments of the city, and sat down. We worked over there without a permit for 2 months, and we finally received a letter that said they were gonna stop us, so I had to go down and sit down with them. We went through, I think, 3 or 4 different meetings with them trying to resolve problems and get everything in so we could get the permits back in action, get it so we could purchase the permit and move on with the job. The building permit was not issued all at one time. We had a site permit issued first as the meetings came along, and we resolved some of the issues. We got the foundation permit issued. And then as we worked along other problem areas, we ended up with the framing permit, and then the final permit. Now, we still have a list of requirements and paperwork that have to be turned in before the job will be occupiable, to get our certificate of occupancy, and we're working on that paperwork now. It won't be a problem. It won't cost us any money, but just the red tape of submitting all this stuff to them is a pain. So until the actual plan review started, we didn't know what would be the difference. The only thing we could have done was maybe put another $1 million in the budget, just in case, maybe up front.
May I ask a question of the mayor? Mayor, would you help me out on this? Maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but we've got 2 government entities here. And as far as I'm concerned, our people did everything they could to try to anticipate all this. And I'm not trying to pick a fight with the city, but it doesn't seem like that they were really trying to move us along. Is there any way we can signal these things in advance when we're trying to put together a school project? Because this is their money as well as ours in terms of city people pay county taxes.
Well, I mean, I've been listening to this. I mean, I think some of this was, a little bit of it was off-site as far as, I mean, it was water, stormwater, sewer, road. So some of those things, I'm sure we have to do all those things, but I'm not sure that our engineers had all of that really laid out in detail. And I don't know if they could have gotten the information that they needed from these city people, you know, actually before they actually bid these jobs. But it wasn't so much that the building, I mean, there may have been some building things, but it wasn't so much that the building structure itself had all these changes, but all these things that supported that. It appeared to me some of the primary structural infrastructure kinds of things that we didn't have clearly identified. And I don't know if Mr. Clardy's engineers and architects could have improved on that or not. And I don't know if they could have gotten information from the city, but you think it could have been a bit better communicated, and maybe they didn't supply that data to us.
Well, just to pick one example, if TDOT approves it, wouldn't you think that that would be enough?
You know, we had to go through the annexation process for both pieces of property. Otherwise, I guess there's a city statute that says you cannot hook into the sewer unless you are in the city limit.
Or apply. They don't have to accept you, but you have to apply to be eligible. So they have the right to turn you down, but you have to apply.
Right, and also they can give you a waiver and hook you up, I think. But they chose not to give us a waiver. We had to go through the annexation process, which is time consuming. And I think we finally ended up with an agreement from the city's attorney to go to the school board for approval and have it signed to go back saying we would purchase a permit before they would even move forward with the annexation so that we could have sewer service. So it's just, it's been very time consuming. It's, if we had tried to fight these battles before we started school, we'd probably still be fighting the battle in the construction when it started.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I won't pursue this, but this is just another example where you have one project and two governments are responsible for getting this out, and the public's a loser on this if it slows it down. I feel confident our people have done everything they could, and I'm not saying that the city didn't, but it's just an example, you know, where two governments responsible for one project, getting it underway. Thank you.
Isn't some of the city children going to this school?
In droves, yes.
Yes.
I'll answer that question for you. Yes.
And seems to me like there could be a little bit more unity with their children going to our schools.
I think that the board was asking a question to Mr. Reed, the board attorney last night, if we could go back and recoup any of this, and he said after the fact, there's no way to go back and recoup any of the money, but a couple of board members, of course, the school board has the Attorney General's ruling from some time back that says basically that if you have, for instance, we always get our plans reviewed by the state fire marshal when we build out in the county or in Laverne or Smyrna, and that's good enough for them. But the Attorney General says you don't have to have two government entities watching the project for life safeties and those types of issues. So within its ruling, it says that we do not need to buy a permit. But the only way, since the city will not accept that, the only way to resolve the issue is a court battle. And so the board said last night, a couple of members said that if we end up adding on to Siegel and can get the time out front, then they might pursue legal action against the city on that.
Goes back to right where we were with the lighting and all for the stadium at Siegel some years ago. But the problem with the new schools is the city owns the sewer department.
Right.
And we need sewer, and we could probably build the schools without a permit, but they are not obligated to hook us up to their sewer. So
the law would be on their side at that.
Well, the law might be on our side as far as construction of the schools,
right,
but it would not be, we could not force them to hook us up to the sewer. So, you know, that's one reason why in the past we've been talking about some schools on step systems and things like that. But I think they have the trump card in their sewer department at this point in time.
And, you know, my experience with the all of the staff down there, they're a great bunch of people. They're very professional. And we work together very closely. Everything, you know, they've tried to help us, although I guess the upper echelon down there doesn't see it the way that the school board sees it. So they're in a situation where they're kind of like me and they're trapped. We have to try to work all this stuff out at the level that we're out and to keep things moving.
Well, I just couldn't help but ask those questions.
Ms. Macklin?
Well, something is sticking out that I guess I'm not clear on. You got on both projects, city review comments.
Right.
What are we paying for there?
Well, those are odds and ends that came back from the review that we had to fix and plan to get them to accept them.
So you have to pay them for them to give us a...
That's the cost related with that list of comments that came back that we had to incorporate into our construction documents to meet their requirements.
Oh, okay, so it was a change to the construction document, not a check to the
Right.
city for their comment.
In other words, they've reviewed the plans for, to see if they would pass their group of codes and ordinances and things. If they found something in there that was lacking, they pointed it out. And then we had to go price that out, fix it on the drawings, resubmit the drawings, and then they would review them again to make sure that those were fixed up. And there's a cost associated with that when we start changing their drawings.
Okay, so it wasn't a one-time fix, it was several fixes, they review it.
I think we had 5 or 6 different times that we submitted.
65,000 for a city recommendation of landscape.
That's above the amount of landscaping we had in our plan to start with.
That's
Right.
what I'm saying.
Still not too late. You wanna break these out 1, 2, and 3, or you wanna vote on them together?
We don't have any choice,
We
don't we?
don't have no choice.
Okay, we'll vote on them together then. Do I have a motion to whatever?
I'll make a motion to approve the 3. I don't think we have any choice. We gotta get these schools open.
Need a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Who seconded? Call the roll, please, Michelle.
Commissioner Bullen,
Reluctant, yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch,
Yes.
Commissioner Will Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo,
Yes.
Commissioner
choice.
Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan.
Grumpy, yes.
No choice.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much.
Well, we got
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Had to say try.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you.
while they're up here,
Yes, sir.
I'd had the pleasure to try for the tennis court Sunday afternoon. And, great facility. I'm just very proud of the tennis courts out there. But I did notice one design flaw. I don't know if you want me to tell you about it or not.
The city didn't catch that in their review?
Yeah, I was gonna say got a part of it.
You know how there's 2 courts, and then behind there's 2 courts, with a fence that separates them, it doesn't go all the way to the ground, and the balls can roll under it. And my ball board didn't show up, so I had to go around and get the balls as they rolled under it. So when you try to get the fence down
Pull
where it
fence
touches the
down
court,
to
so
the
the
court.
balls can't roll
I think I
under
got
it.
some chicken wire out tomorrow, and I can take out there and
Okay.
tie it on.
Mr. Clark is finished with that process, it's turned over to the.
It's the
city.
city's responsibility.
But other than that, they're
Yeah,
pretty
you can
cool.
pass it along to the
You're
city.
supposed to have a dog that goes and gets it, brings
The
it back to you.
city's supposed
He
to
didn't show up.
maintain it.
Great
Bust
court.
that ball, boy.
I guess that comes under any other business. I think Mr. Williams has something, and before he starts, let me also tell the committee that Mr. Gill will be here next time to discuss anything that you might want to discuss. That is December 22nd at 5:30. I would say also, Mr. Sandvik, that we may have a number of items that night from the school board. Is that fair or not fair? Or did we get most of it tonight?
We got most of it tonight.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I did hand out to the committee, or Ms. Shelton did, some material that I picked up at Thurman Francis, which just, I thought would be of help to y'all, and it was to me, about admission to Central Magnet School next year. That's not for discussion, it was just for your reading, and maybe preparation next time. Also, our mayor will have some other material for you in your mailbox regarding Central Magnet School before that December 22nd meeting. And that finishes anything that I need to say. Any other commissioner?
One comment.
Okay, I think Mr. Williams
Well,
wants to
I'll
speak to.
defer to Commissioner.
You've been deferred to.
Go ahead. I mean, that doesn't matter when mine come. In our last, I'm on the County Records Commission, and at the last meeting, which was this past Tuesday, they asked me to ask this committee to facilitate in asking the Board of Education for them to hold a short records workshop sometime after the first of the year with John Lodell being able to hold that meeting. So I'm more than happy to give a lengthy explanation, but without that, I've just make a motion that we ask them to do that and coordinate that with, Board of Education or with whomever over there to hold the workshop after the first of the year. So that'd be a motion that I'd make for us to ask them that.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Is there any comment from anyone? I have no objection if anybody in the county meets with anybody on anything, if that's what they want to do.
I don't know if we need a motion.
I don't know that.
Well, I'm just asking what the Records Commission
Yes, sir.
asked me to do to get them to do that.
What would be a workshop for?
Well, we just pulled out, since the archives opened in August of '06, there's been a lot of new state regulations and a lot of things that have come out. We've just pulled out 200, Mr. Gill and maybe Mr. Sandvig, and I don't know who all was involved. They just turned over 200 boxes of things that were in a garage at Central Middle School, and they're in the process of going through and preserving them. And I'm new to the Records Commission, but the ones that are over there would just want to, they've held some workshops in the past, and for whatever reasons,
How to keep records.
And to
Get everybody on the same.
get everybody on the same page with that. And John Lodell said it's a 30 to 45 minute deal with whoever that they would deem appropriate, maybe some school board members or whatever, but that was just something that they'd like to get everybody on the same page of what can be thrown away, the retention records, and what things should be archived and not, and save everybody some space and put things on microfiche. And it's way above what I understand. That's why I go over there and just sit and listen to John Lodell tell me what needs to be done. So that's what they had requested. So
Are there other comments? We do have a motion and a second. I'm reluctant. The school board is an elected body, and I'm reluctant to go much past asking them.
that's all this
I
does.
thought the motion was to
That's
ask
what
them,
I
not
said.
to,
All
I think
right.
we have the
Oh,
authority
we
to
have
question.
Saying
It's
we
just
just,
a request that they talk.
That they do
You
that.
know, and as far as I'm concerned.
Please.
But what I heard your motion to be was to ask the Records Commission to hold a records workshop and ask the school board to accommodate said request.
Is that
well,
acceptable?
yeah, I mean, the Records Commission wants to hold a workshop.
Well, are you wanting to ask the school board to do it or the records? That was just what I heard you say.
Well, it's basically John Lodell to the archivist to go to hold as he says, conduct a short records workshop
They're requesting the school board
For-
to entertain them.
for whomever they want, that they need to in the records management over there to attend that workshop. So it's just a request, would they do that and allow him to come over and have a short workshop with them. He's held this for other departments all over and just has not done that yet with the school board.
I would assume we could attend if we.
Sure,
So
anybody,
chose.
yeah.
On that word tonight.
Well, you can offer an amendment if you wish.
Well, is this what you want your motion to say? Ask the school board to allow the Records Commission to hold a short records workshop.
Sometime after the first of the year, yeah.
You want to ask them to consider holding ask them, because that way it's not as,
Any way that you want to put it out there.
I don't think you'll get a no, I think you'll get a yes, but I think probably all you need is just a written request to Mr. Gill, and it'll be taken care of.
Are you satisfied with
Sure.
the motion? Any other comment on Mr. Williams' motion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Okay. Any other business that we need to take care of tonight?
Dr. Bullen deferred.
Yes, I'm sorry, Dr. Bull.
I'll ask you after the meeting. I move we adjourn.
You moved.
Wait a minute. I want to hear what it is.
Last call, Dr. Bullock.
All right, have we received any growth money yet from the state?
No, sir.
Do you anticipate, I thought they
Yes, sir.
changed it where we would get it up, some of it up front every
We
year.
get it in 2 installments, so I don't think we've got any yet. But the first installment is not at all indicative of what the final number will be.
Are they just slow getting it out?
I have,
Probably pretty
I
slow
don't
coming
think
in.
I
They're slow
normally,
putting it out.
I'm thinking we maybe got the first installment in January or maybe December last year. It used to be we got it all very late in the year.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments from anyone? If not, we'll never change a meeting again. I appreciate very, very much your participation tonight. Thank you.